So we call diversification unrelated diversification when you don't see any significant transferring of core competencies across divisions, or you don't see any sharing of activities. Once upon a time, these types of companies were quite popular, and that was because that last bullet, the idea of efficient markets and resource allocation. And the idea was you have businesses in several unrelated industries, and when one is booming and another is busting, you can take the profits from the booming company, invest them in the busting company, and then when the market turns and things are hot here, these people are going to be ready to skyrocket towards the top. So it's this idea of efficient internal markets that you know what's going on, which gets into that restructuring idea that sometimes companies spot hidden value and they know where to invest money. The last one is, I think, one that really you see more today, and that is the idea of management or leadership as a core competency. And they have very thin slices of things that they promote across the companies. There are some big company names that would still be considered to have fairly unrelated portfolio businesses. A great example would be General Electric, who now is big in jet engines. They've made a big move into oil and gas. They make locomotives. They are also very big in healthcare. So they're very different, although they're all somewhat manufacturing related. And now GE is trying to promote the idea of big data and their ability to harness sensors and things to make all of these things run together, or run better together. But GE has been criticized, and has been a lot of outside investors have really pushed GE to divest. And in fact, you see today, they've been trying for a while. It appears they have a deal that's going to stick. GE is selling off its appliance business. So the old GE is continually reforming itself. United Technologies is another fairly diversified firm in lots of different industries that is someone that you may know the title of. But there are other firms that are running unrelated diversification strategies you don't know of. A great example, and one I would encourage you to Google, is a company called Danaher. They are a big manufacturer, and they have 4 different divisions that are fairly unrelated. But what they do is they buy small manufacturing firms and they turn them around, and they make them worth more in their opinion. And so in this case, they are sharing the idea of, we know how to run manufacturing. If you had to ask what is their competency, it would be lean manufacturing. The way most unrelated diversification companies are run, though, is you have a fairly lean headquarters staff, and they're simply allocators of capital and assigners of personnel. And so we put you in as the CEO of this company in our portfolio. We resource you to the level we think you need, and then we step back and we reap the profits. And if there aren't any profits, we fire you and we bring somebody else in. So it's an idea of management leadership as a core competency, and sometimes they spread some other things past that. But today, unrelated diversification is very much on the outs. Today, there's a huge focus on getting back to your core competencies. In fact, diversification in general is under a lot of criticism. As I make this video, Xerox just announced its plans to split into 2. You look, eBay split off PayPal. There's a lot of pressure or talk about Pepsi divesting its salty snacks business, the Frito-Lay sort of thing. So a lot of pressure, this idea that we can get back to what it is we do well. And so very much a rejection that 2 can come together and be more than 2, or 2 ones can come together and be more than 2. It's like, let everybody stand on their own, or actually we are making them perform less well when we put them together. But there are some people notably doing this, and I'll give you one. Instantly, the last bullet, survey says, well, the thinking is that moderate levels of diversification can improve firm performance, but as you get to the unrelated, it begins to diminish firm performance. But let's think about this for just a second. If I had to ask you who is the most famous investor in America today, I think most people would say Warren Buffett. And his company is Berkshire Hathaway. You look into Berkshire Hathaway and you tell me what it is. And you're going to find it holds a very diversified portfolio of companies that Berkshire Hathaway doesn't try to enforce any relatedness to. What do? We hire good people in industries we think they're going to profit, and we hold them accountable. Sounds like unrelated diversification. Next up, we're going to talk about mergers and acquisitions.